All right, and last but not least, very not least, is this game. This is Nguyen versus Esipenko. Now, Nguyen isn't well named because he lost. So let's flip. Esipenko's another kid who's probably not a kid anymore, but he was a kid. How old's Esipenko? Like 19, 18? My mom calls people in their 50s a kid, and I'm like, he's in his 50s. And she goes, that's a kid to me. What am I going to do? 19? Yeah. Yeah, it was played at the Manfred Mann Island, and everybody had to stop their games because they were blinded by the light, which originally, unfortunately, was a Bruce Springsteen song. Blah. Horrible. We discussed this on a previous stream. The Manfred Mann version of Blinded by the Light is a cover of the Bruce Springsteen version. Bruce Springsteen version, he wrote the song. Frankly, terrible. If you listen to both songs, you can't tell they're the same song. Usually when somebody does a cover, it sounds like the original. And there was a really funny instance of that. I was watching, I think it was Lou Reed, live in Paris. And he was doing a song, and it was a song I knew, but I didn't recognize it. It was Sweet Jane. And I didn't know, and I'm like, wait, that's, sometimes sometimes you don't recognize, it's crazy. Man, that is just terrible, the Bruce, I mean, I hope you're ashamed if you like that. Right, Cowboy Junk, yeah. Bruce's version isn't bad. Incorrect. Yeah. Terrible. Cowboy Junks, man. Yeah. Okay, so Esipenko, pretty good. All right, so let's have a look. I want to show you the whole game. And there's a reason why I'm showing you the whole game. Okay, it's a Slav, which I play. A6 Slav, I have white in the A6 Slav, but not black. Okay, C5. I've played every move here with white that's theory. I've played C5, I've played A4, I've played E3. I tried them all. I lost with them all. Okay. H3 I'm not familiar with at all. Now the idea, I assume, I could be wrong, is after E5, if white takes it, we can't play knight G4, trying to get our pawn back, I guess. And if you play bishop F4, which is a good idea later, then after knight H5, you just hide. And then if you play bishop H4 with the pawn here, then maybe this is a move. So I assume that's the idea. Okay, queen C7, stopping bishop F4, and hoping to play E5. Okay. G3, he's like, I want to play bishop F4. And he's like, nope, E5, I got it in first, I win. Knight E5 is good, knight E5 is good. Okay, now you can play bishop F4 or takes. The engine slightly prefers this, but okay. And that's what he did. Okay, knight FD7 is correct. All right, now in this position, which is very strange, the engine gives one move I wouldn't think about and one move I would think about. The best move, which I wouldn't consider, is E4. And then it says all zeros. I wouldn't even think of E4. And then bishop G2 is the second best move. But he played this. Now, the reason I'm showing this game from the beginning is the first 7, 8, 9 moves, the engine says it's equal. And then, let's see, I'm on chess TV, so I can't say what I want to say. Black destroys white like it's a different class. Like it's a 2800 playing a 1300. It goes from equal to black being plus 100 like immediately. And not by blunder, 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 by I'm good and you're not. And Esipenko's good, white's also good, but you can just see as the game progresses, it's a different kind of good. Black is just a much better player, even though it went to playoffs. Okay, bishop C5, and then black's slightly better. Fine. Now, if you play e6, which looks good, okay, I'm not saying it's not good. After this, the engine says black's winning, which is weird for you guys. Like you're pinning your own knight. Why would you be winning? Truth hurts. I'm threatening the pawn, so this makes the most sense, obviously, and frankly. And the reason you're winning is there's a move here you wouldn't think is possible. And that's why you're winning, is queen takes. Normally you don't hang your own knight, but because you have queen f2 and queen e3, black's obviously winning here, you can't play bishop takes knight. So black's going to play knight g6 next move, and there's not really a good answer for that. The answer is white's position's terrible. That's the answer. Okay, so he didn't play e6. He played bishop g2. That's fine. Knight takes e5, and black is up a pawn. And you might say, well, white has compensation. The knight's pinned. White has a lead in development. That's true. It's true. And he played castles, which is bad. And what the onus is usually on the person who sacrificed in positions where you're down material. You can't just be like, well, I'm down material, but I'm just going to play normal, boring chess. This is the reason, this is the main reason sacrificing is a very risky venture. If you don't sacrifice and you're not down material, you can just play normal chess. But if you sacrifice and you're down material, you got to prove it. And white wasn't interested in proving it. White just castled. He's letting black do whatever he wants to alleviate the pressure. The only move that makes any sense to put more pressure on black's position is rook c1. Okay, then black has to think about what to do here. This is pinned. Here comes discovered attacks on the bishop. And the engine says black is better, but not a lot better. White has good compensation for a pawn because there's pressure everywhere. And the rook's better on c1 than a1, obviously. I mean, rook c1 is just a natural move. But castles isn't threatening. It lets black do whatever he wants, and you can't do that when you're down a pawn. You got to prove it. Okay, queen e7, excellent move. Now rook c1, too late. Knight g6. He has to keep it. I mean, white's retreating, and white's down a pawn. Okay, bishop there's excellent. You don't want to be on the rook line there. And now they're just playing normal chess, but black's up a pawn for nothing. And these are the kind of things you don't see at the super grandmaster level. Obviously, white is not a super grandmaster. It's a good player. And you're not down a pawn with white out of the opening. You have no compensation. You can't do that. Okay, he played e4. He's trying to mix it up. d4, c5. God damn. Yeah, I mean, just great play from black. Frankly, great. I mean, he's got two extra pawns on the queen side, and he's proving it. Now, an engine would not play that move. That's one of those faux aggressive moves. An engine would play a move, and you would choke on your own rage. If you had black in this position, and you were playing an engine, and the engine played this move, you'd be like, oh my God. Black is still much better, but you would feel bad if your opponent played this move. You'd be like, The best move is bishop b4. When somebody plays a tactic you don't see, then you feel bad. And if you take, then the engine says this is equal, because I'm winning my piece back, and your pawns are ruined. It says black's a little better, black's a pawn up. The engine wants to sack the exchange because c4 is explosive. And then if you take with the knight, and the engine really likes black here. Black has a bishop and a pawn for a rook. Black's got crazy great pawns. Black has the two bishops. Black's better here. Bishop b4, though, would have been shocking to black. Bishop e4. He played queen h5, pretending to be aggressive. Okay, bishop b7's good. B3's stopping C4 later. And in this position, black missed the best move, but he played a good move, rook fe8. f5 is actually better. Okay, h4, no good. Rook e5. Yeah, queen h5 didn't really do it. Yeah, I mean, this just looks like black is a good player and white isn't. That's what it looks like. Black's up a pawn. Black has a passed d pawn. Black's pieces are all great. And white's played h4, b3, and a3. And the bishop's on a5. And the engine says black's up 3.6. And this doesn't look like white is blundering pieces. This looks like white's just not good. It's not true. White is a good player. It just looks like he's not good. And they're talking about this on Twitter a lot. And this reminds me of the book Master versus Amateur, the Max Irva book. These are games you learn from. If you see Geary play Magnus, all you learned is they're better than you. And they see a lot more than you. They calculate better than you. You already knew that. And if those games end in draws and they're well played, it's hard to learn a lot from that because you can't play like that. You play bad and they play good. But if you see a game like this, where one guy is 100, 200, 300 points better than his opponent, then you see why. White's moves have no, what's the word? Not unity. There's no flow. That's what they like to say, flow. Horrible. God, I wish I hadn't said flow. White's playing random legal moves. If you look at White's moves individually, they don't go together. Queen h5, queen d1, a3, b3, bishop a5. The knight got to d5 by moving 20 times. Black's pieces are all just really well coordinated, right? I mean, everything black did was like good. Every move he made improved his position. White just made random moves, then decided he didn't like them. Queen h5, queen d1. Moved my knight 30 times. Put my bishop on the side of the board. And black is just, you couldn't be better coordinated. Everything perfect. And up material. Okay. Queen d3. Get rid of the good knight. He's like, I don't want to get rid of the good knight. He's like, get rid of the good knight. The rook is trapped, but that doesn't work. I mean, this is embarrassing for white. It's embarrassing. He's getting out-calculated. He's getting outplayed positionally. And these are things you're not taught when you're a kid because it's hard to teach this. In this position, black is up 2 pawns. 7-5, right? And you might think the engine would say +2. But the knight's attacked and trapped. The king is exposed. We have a threat. We have a passed pawn. The engine says black is +8. And when your opponent's +8 and they're not up 8 points of material, you're not playing well. If it's equal material and it says +8, man, are you getting outplayed? You don't even know what's going on. You're just getting crushed without losing material. You don't understand chess as well as your opponent. And I mean, this guy's really good. This guy won a match. He drew games in this match. And Esipenko's just better. I mean, Esipenko's moves all go together really well. Controls the center. He sees the tactics better. And his pieces are really well coordinated. They all work together. Takes here. Okay, and then he resigned because this is ridiculous. This and knight f5 and mating the king. Yeah, and it says +9. 9! I mean, that was a really terrible beating that you would expect. Black was a very good player and white was like an A player or a B player. Not that white's a grandmaster who's winning matches in the World Cup. And that's why I showed you the whole game, because if you analyze that game with an engine or with your coach or with a friend, you're like, okay, white got run over that game. What happened? I don't want to get run over. I want to be black. I want to run the guy over. And it's a total mismatch, but it's not really. This game was a total mismatch. And so this is the kind of thing you would see more often if the top 10 players in the world played more doofuses. Like if you see Magnus beat Wesley, for example, or vice versa, they're both playing really good and somebody might win. Usually it's a draw. But if you see Magnus play like a 2100, then you're going to see like this. And you'll be like, man, Magnus should stop playing 2100. It's too easy. And I'm not making fun of Hikaru. I'm not. This is what happens with Hikaru a lot because Hikaru plays in a lot of chess.com events where he's just way too good. He's way too good. He's way too good. Right? He's way too good. And when Hikaru plays in Arena Kings and Title Tuesday, not only does he win the tournaments, I did commentary 3 days ago on Arena Kings. When they had the matches at the end, he won every game of every match. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 3-0. Right? It's not like it's close. He runs over everybody because he's really good. And the other people are kind of good. The other people you think are good because, they're pretty good on the internet, but they're not in Hikaru's class. They're not. And so they could beat Hikaru because, it's blitz and bullet. But, he's just way better than them. He's way better than them. He's way better than them. So he's winning every game. He wins every Title Tuesday, every Arena Kings. And that's what this reminded me of. Like, these guys shouldn't be playing because black is too good. But it really isn't the case. Black is a better player than white, and white didn't play well this game, so it was embarrassing. And this is like what I'm afraid of if I play in like the World Open or the Chicago Open and I'm paired up, like Jeffrey Zhang. If Jeffrey Zhang plays like Jeffrey Zhang and I play like worse than I usually do, it's going to be embarrassing. I'm not going to lose. I'm going to lose in an embarrassing way. If I beat Jeffrey Zhang, probably he lost on time or he hung his rook or something. But if he beats me and I didn't play well, I'll get embarrassed. It'll look like I don't know how to play. And that's what happened this game. And it's rare. You don't see that at the top level where one guy beats the other guy and you're like, why is that guy in the tournament? But if you watch Arena Kings and Title Tuesday and just watch Hikaru's games, half of them are him just running over people. It's not fair. He's just way too good. And if you saw The Hustler, 1961, when he goes into the scary pool hall by the docks and he plays this other hustler and he beats him real easily, they say, well, you're a pool shark. And he says, well, so's that guy. And he says, yeah, but you're better, much better, which is true. Paul Newman's too good to play a pool hall with, random alcoholics. Like Paul Newman's a top player, top in the world. You can't be playing with, guys who are no good, but he did because he's trying to make a couple bucks. And when you watch sports on television, they try to avoid that. They don't want a football game to be 56-0 because you're going to turn it off. They don't want baseball to be 13-0 in the third inning because you're going to turn it off. So if they had high school teams play pro teams, it's not interesting. So they try to avoid that. They try to have parity. They try to have it so anybody can win. And for the most part, professional sports do a good job. But in chess, sometimes it's one-sided, especially in big Swisses. In round one, it's big guys beating up on little guys. And then later in the tournament, it's more equal. But in chess, you see a lot of that. It's a mismatch, and one guy just gets beat really, really badly. Now, I will admit, when I play on my stream against the gawking rabble, half of the games I'm playing bad, maybe on purpose, maybe not, and it's unclear who's better. I'm probably going to win somehow. You don't know how. The other half, I get like 9 queens and 10 bishops, and I take everything. So I don't do that every game, but I do it a lot because the games are mismatches. If I play 1500 and I want to, it's not interesting. But I can make it interesting, and I do. But that's not, that's not competitive. So it's better when the players are equal strength, and I wouldn't guess that the guy with white could get beat so badly by anybody. Obviously, Magnus would do that, maybe Wesley. Yeah. Right, and boxing, which probably should be illegal anyway, but that's a different discussion. It definitely should be illegal in boxing. It should be, and maybe it is, to have these big mismatches. You can't do that. That's dangerous. If I fought somebody who is a professional fighter, that should be illegal, and it probably is. Like, it wouldn't be sanctioned, the doctor wouldn't allow me to fight, and so forth. But you might say, I hate Ben Feingold, I want to see him getting beaten to death in the ring. So I hope that they fight. Okay, but it's against the law. I can't find somebody who can fight because I'll be killed. It's not competitive, it's just stupid. So they try not, you try to have it where it's competitive. Now, these people who fight in this stupid fighting stuff that you guys like Conor McGregor, the reason those guys don't get killed very often is they're all terrible. So if Conor McGregor is outclassing his opponent or vice versa, those guys are no good. So it doesn't matter. It's just stupid. It's just entertainment, and you guys fall for it. That's why you voted for Trump. You're too dumb to know the difference. But if one of those idiots fought somebody who could fight and the guy tried to kill him, then you wouldn't like it so much. That's why they're always fighting that guy who refuses to hit them. Who's that guy that never hits anybody but he wins anyway? The guy Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather isn't going to kill anybody because he knows he shouldn't kill anybody. That's why those idiots don't fight Tyson or somebody like Tyson who's younger, because they might be dumb and try to kill the guy. That's not good for business. Floyd Mayweather, he knows, like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to get my 100 million. He knows what to do. And then you guys fall for it. You're like, wow, that guy did great. If I was playing a guy rated 1100, like 10 blitz games, I could make all 10 blitz games really close. I could. Or I could get 5 queens in every game. So if I make them all close, you might think it's competitive. Now, you wouldn't, because you're smarter than that. But the general public might. They're like, oh, he's an old GM. He's no good anymore. That looks like a nice, smart young kid. That GM was lucky in those games. That was close. And then you guys fall for it. Yeah. Terrible. Yeah, can you imagine if Mike Tyson, when he was good, if he fought these idiots that, have the fake fighting, Conor McGregor and those guys, they'd be dead. Mike Tyson would kill him. He wouldn't care. But Floyd Mayweather's like, wait a minute. Ooh, it's close. I wonder who won. Can I have my 100 million now? Let me find another guy. Yeah. And then you guys fall for it. It's important to fall for it. Floyd is a great fighter. He could kill them if he wanted to, and he doesn't. He intentionally doesn't hurt them, because then that would be the end of that. They wouldn't have it anymore. They'd be like, oh, our guys can't fight at all, and these guys are actual fighters. Never mind. Instead, they're like, wow, he put up a good fight. That was interesting. Ridiculous. But they have to get the right guy to do that. Floyd is good enough and smart enough to keep the money rolling in. Conor McGregor can't do anything, and you guys all think he's a genius. Like, wow, what a fighter. He loses all of his fights, can't fight, can't do anything, and you guys are like, he's the greatest because he has a lot of tattoos or something. I don't know. Ridiculous. I've never been so mad. Yeah, if Tyson fought McGregor when Tyson was good, McGregor wouldn't get in the ring. He'd run away. Yeah. But he knows he's safe with Floyd because Floyd will intentionally not hurt him. Yeah. Right, Floyd's a good businessman. Right, yeah, the UFC is fake fighting because the guys can't fight. I mean, that's like having 2 7-year-olds fight. They're fighting, but they can't beat anybody. They can only fight each other. They just take guys who look weird, who can't fight, who are big or muscular, and they have them fight. Then you guys are like, wow. Because it's the way you guys are. If guys can actually fight, then they go into boxing and fight. Terrible. Right. It's not that it's fake, it's that they suck. Right. The fake part is tricking the public into thinking those guys are great. That's the fake part. Right. And we do this in other sports too. Right. A lot of people who are up and coming in chess, who are 8 to 14 years old, they're not the best players in the world. They're good for their age. But they get so much publicity sometimes, the general public might think that Abi is one of the top 10 players in the world. And you guys even think Tani is one of the top players in the US. Those guys, for their age, are top. But if Abi plays a round robin with the top 10 players in the world, he gets 0. And if Tani plays in the US Championship, he gets 0. But they're good for who they are, and they're going to get better, and they're going to compete at those levels, but not now. So you guys are easily tricked. Man, I sucked when I was a kid. God damn. Wasn't even talented. But after losing like 2,000 games, you get better. All right, thanks for watching and so forth. I'll be on 11 a.m. tomorrow, just like today, Eastern, with Danya. And Danya and Ifan will be on first, 8 to 11. I'll be on 11 to 2. It's going to be slow chess. So I can diss Carlsen and Karyakin and Caruana. Has to start with a cuss sound or I won't diss them. Just those guys. Yay! 200 Senzaju's. Imaginary friend 7879. That sounds like all my friends. Yeah. My takes are correct. If you don't like them, too bad. Yeah. Ben thinks Thing is fake because of politics. Oh, no talking in the chat, just donating. Samhain OG is an OG. Hooray. Go Pam. I will tell Karen hi. Yeah. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow at this time for another recap. And I'll see you guys tomorrow 11 a.m. on the chess.com Twitch thing. And you can watch me again, if you want, on YouTube. Boo. You can see me have terrible commentary again. Let's see. Who am I raiding? I raid you. You raid me. Except nobody ever raids me. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.